All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today, Tyler.
Of
I
course.
see your comment on LinkedIn really around this idea of exploitative marketing or marketing that's taking advantage of people, fake marketing, people who are just slinging things to sling them. Why don't you kind of introduce yourself a little bit, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and kind of what led you to see this as a problem?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Tyler Hansen. I own PPC Foundry. We're a Google Ads agency, helping a many amount of different clients. I started about 9 years ago as an in-house marketing director for a few different companies, and then from there, I kind of realized, a lot of the marketing companies we would hire just really sucked. We'd spend a couple grand with them, and I was just like, man, this is terrible. I feel like this is not necessarily easy, but I feel like customer service and doing the right thing, even when no one's looking, is such a big deal, even in business and in life, that I feel like I could address this problem. And I've always liked marketing anyway, and doing Google Ads specifically. So that's when I started my own agency to do this type of stuff. And um, shortly thereafter, being in Facebook groups and all the other types of groups, you just really see how many crappy marketers are out there, or just people talking a lot of crap and fake results, different things like that. And I think it was funny. One of my other partners at one point, we were talking about, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, before the economy kind of started wavering a bit, there's so many social media marketers and gurus and coaches and stuff. And I think since COVID happened now, that a lot of those have gone away because they weren't able to keep up with results and actually perform a service. So that's kind of where I'm at now, is wanting to, take clients, in an honest way to what is actually possible, and not promising the moon to them.
What do you see as like driving some of these fake promises, the fake results, the fakeness in marketing?
I think it's greed. I think um, on a philosophical level, you can look at it like that, or you have people probably in desperate situations where marketing isn't necessarily a hard thing to do if you learn the tool. It's a lot of people that know how to use a tool, but having the concepts on how to properly use a tool is a different game, right? And so you have people that have learned this tool and are just trying to make a quick buck, trying to, get ahead with something, but it's not a long lasting strategy. They're not really trying to make a business. They're just trying to get the quick buck and move on to the next person.
Do you think that varies? I mean, is that changed by location, or do you think that happens everywhere?
I think it happens everywhere. I think.
Uh, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I know there's tons of social media gurus here, or other agencies, here in this area and other places, that I've been to. Like, same story. There's always people that don't do a good job for whatever reason. And I'm not saying I'm the best either, but I try to be honest, and hey, this is clear expectations. That's, I never promise the moon. I never say that we're gonna execute on this, if we can't achieve it.
Totally. When you see organizations really struggling, why is it that you feel that they come to marketers? Like, what is it they're trying to ultimately get in your mind?
I think from being an in-house marketer, the mindset that a lot of companies have is like trying to find that silver bullet, the magic. They hear, everyone's heard the stories like, oh yeah, you just use your keywords and you get in there, or we started getting a bunch of leads. Like, just probably within any industry, like, you hear all these like magical stories of people hitting it big, which happens, but that's not necessarily real life. Keeping things consistent and showing a consistent result and doing the hard work, even though it might be small. I think a lot of people try to look for that easy win that's huge, and that's not practical.
Totally agree with that. When you talk about kind of those hard wins, what do those hard wins look like for you?
Yeah, it's taking an account, like, for example, like an e-commerce account, and that may have been what I posted there, but an e-commerce account that, trying to get it to a break-even point, and then, okay, now they're a break-even point, how can we continue to do that? And that's the big one that I see in a lot of groups, is people talking about, yeah, we just 20 times their ROAS, and month one, which again is possible, but that's not necessarily the practical steps. That's not doing the hard work and taking the foundational pieces of marketing and continue to layer them on over time, and doing that, but also explaining those expectations and explaining that to the client and helping them understand to see that too. That's such a huge factor in this, and that personal touch that's required in any kind of marketing.
I love that. When you're kind of walking a client through some of this stuff, what are those steps that you take? What are the things that you really work to make sure a client understands?
Lifetime value. That's kind of for both of us to figure out. A lot of times you're working with a new company that might not know that, or you have a company that has been around a while but hasn't really looked at that. And I think a lot of people with marketing try to go for, I put in this much money, and I expect this much. And sometimes, that is the case, but sometimes you have a service or a business model that is more of a lifetime value, where on the ad side, you're not necessarily making that money back, but that lifetime value of the client you are. And being able to walk someone through that and have that type of understanding, I think, is very important.
Totally. What tools do you use to help people see that?
Just different reporting, SpyFu, the reporting tools I use to send out reports, and just honestly just analyzing the data myself in accounts. So, and that's part of where too, you have to have that conversation with them. It's not like I'm just in this tool and I use it and then here's your information. Like, you have to have a conversation with the client. You have to learn, those leads that you sent to them, what happened to those leads? What, are they crappy? Are they great? How are you going to know what's working on this side if you don't see the other piece of the pie?
Totally. Are as you kind of like walk through this with a client, how do you explain to them what you're doing differently versus kind of the run-of-the-mill marketer that's, maybe on the less honest side?
Yeah, I think from my experience, I don't consider myself a great salesman at all, but I love talking to people. I love hearing what they have to say. And I think if you just showed like general compassion and like, hey, I care about your business, I want to take this. I know I'm decent at doing this stuff, but let's have a relationship. I think people take that a lot further than people give credit for. And that's usually my approach. Anytime I get on a call, I just say, hey, tell me what you've been doing. And I just listen. I shut up and listen and just hear what they have to say. And then I just provide solutions for whatever they told me. And a lot of people like that.
Very cool. Are people wanting more from you once they kind of get into that groove, or they see like, man, I can actually trust this person?
Sometimes I think I try to do at the beginning, and I think a lot of people do that, is they want to do everything, be a jack of all trades, and you kind of end up running around doing a bunch of different stuff. That got me into trouble, not performing as well as I could. So I think now more I make the expectations clear of, what we're going to be doing, how we do it, give the timelines, give, the intervals when we're working in the account, just being upfront with those things so that they really do have a understanding. I think marketing, because it's marketing, like we like to use a lot of mumbo jumbo and, oh, we're going to set the account up and install the tracking and make sure your audience, like it sounds big to people that don't understand that, but really those are just very simple tasks, right? And so just being upfront with what we do and how we do it, I think is what's very important, setting an expectation.
What do you do with a client when you're struggling to get results?
Be honest with them. That's kind of the only approach. Like, it sucks to have to eat that worm, but you just do that and always try to come with solutions with that. Like, hey, we can do these things. This is, a path we can try. I can't guarantee it's going to work, but these are, and I always try to come in with a compassionate attitude of, hey, we're actually trying to do this. Sometimes things don't work. And it may be your business doesn't work well on this specific marketing channel, but providing solutions and not just saying, well, we don't know. But being honest about that too, not just like, okay, we're going to do it to get a month. I will tell a client, like, sorry, like, we're probably going to end this contract just because it's not working, and I'm not going to continue to take money from you just to have another client. Like, it needs to make sense for you guys, and we're at a point now where it's not. So
very cool. I love that. Like, that's kind of like this like radical honesty kind of an approach.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the point in my business where I'm at is if someone doesn't stay or it's just not working out, they're not meant for me, you know. And maybe there's another marketer or agency that they would flourish with, which is awesome. Like, great, go do that, because I want their business to succeed. It doesn't have to be with me, because, you know, if they don't work out with me, there's going to be another client that will, you know. And I want to work as fast as possible to find the clients that will work best with me, you know.
Love that. Love that.
There's so much business out there for everyone. I don't like the other attitude I see is people like, you know, this is mine, or stay away, or not trusting other agencies, or just even having that like collaborative, you know, approach. I talk with a lot of other agency owners, and like we just talk, you know. I think there needs to be more of that, and not like this is mine type feelings, you know.
Very cool. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time sharing your thoughts and insights. If folks want to reach out, have a conversation with you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, you can go to our website, ppcfoundry.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn under Tyler Hansen.